Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. I have a story to tell you. We have a nice shade tree, so it's the perfect setting. This story began over a month ago, and this will be part 1 of 2. We'll cover part 1 in this episode. Part 2 will be the next episode. So, 5 weeks ago, a friend of ours texted Senior out of the blue and said, hey, there's an antique tractor auction by Webster, Wisconsin this weekend. Have you heard about it? We said, no, we hadn't. He said, well, there's an antique Caterpillar on it, a smaller one. Are you interested? And I said, not really. I have plenty small antique Caterpillars as it is, and 20 years of projects already stacked. But it's been a while since we've been to a live auction, so let's head on over and spend the day. It's always fun to see what's there, see what things sell for. I can bring the camera along, turn it into an episode for the channel. Let's do it. So the Saturday of the auction, Senior and I got in the truck. We arrived about an hour before the auction was scheduled to start, and that gave us plenty of time to do a pretty good walk around of all the old tractors that were on site. I had the camera with, so the footage that you are about to see is what I first recorded 5 weeks ago. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Bit of a different episode today. We're at an old tractor auction just outside of Webster, Wisconsin. There's a few interesting items in the lineup, so let's just spend the day seeing what everything sells for. Old Farmall. This may be the F30 with these heavy cast wheel centers the way they are. But, oh yeah, we have a lot of manifold issues going on with this one. Otherwise fairly complete. Still read some lettering on that tank. John Deere B styled. John Deere B unstyled. John Deere 830, you just heard this running in the background a minute ago. It has opening bid $6,000 on it. It has a cab. Big brute of a tractor. Alice Chalmers IB, an industrial B. Look at that big heavy frame that wraps around. We got a little Avery. Is this the BF? Ford here, looks like 8N. It's got Ford script fenders on it. Older restoration, but all there. This one looks like possibly a Farmall regular. It's got all the exposed steering. I want to know what this was used for. They welded a bracket onto the frame. Some sort of a trip. Something that isn't there anymore. Over here, I think another regular possibly. Exposed steering once again. This looks like an F12 Farmall. This is F20 possibly. Can't get a read here anymore. Another Alice. Looks like we've got a Farmall H. Somewhat incomplete. This is a FBH 58240, so it's a rather early one. Does have the larger PTO on the back though. And this looks like another H. Yep. Horizontal distributor. This is a 186953, so that's going to be in the range of the 1945 like mine. It is a war baby. It's got the steel shifter knob. Yep, that's pretty close to same age as my age. And over here we have an interesting one. It's a Massey Harris. But what makes it neat, it's got a tractor mounted 2-row Massey Harris corn picker on it. Pretty much blocks you out from working on anything on the tractor. But it's neat. All the mechanisms and everything. Paddles, chains come up to the back. Interesting, looks like a lift cylinder right there. More on it down below, like where the drawbar would be. Lots of sprockets, chains, and gears all over. Massey Harris 30, that's what it is. Okay. Looks like we've got a John Deere D. Decent lugs on the wheels yet. Fenders tore up a little bit over here. Now we got a couple Alice's, and I don't think these are A's. I think this was still the number classification series. I don't see any tags on them. This has a number stamped 42309. Somebody has been putting rubber on the wheels to drive it. Here's another one next door, much the same. Again, no tags that I can see, no badging. This one just has 45519. This has full cleats yet here. Again, pretty good shape. And down here we've got an Alice Chalmers threshing machine. Honestly, doesn't look bad shape. Still on steel. Read the lettering. The old decals. Alice Chalmers up on the chute yet. That is a nice old unit right there. Here we have a Fordson. Oh no, is this a cork Fordson? It's got the larger round air cleaner. It's got the solid cast front wheels. It's got the radiator side panels that just have that square. Let's see. Yep. Ford Motor Company, Cork, Ireland. That is a cork Fordson. Full fenders that really don't look bad. They haven't been all rusted out. Gas tank, honestly, also doesn't look bad. Usually they've got big holes in the bottom. Core took a little bit of a hit. And here's a Fordson F. Definitely an F series here. Again, fenders. These aren't horrible. This is more like you're used to seeing here on Fordson fenders. They liked to rot out. And over here, I think this is a McCormick Deering 1020. We've got a little Caterpillar 22 here. And serial number 2F8075SP. Should make it a 1936. I've checked the tag on the back, and it matches. Standard gauge or narrow. One thing that caught my eye, this is a Cat Factory tow hook. It attaches to the radiator support casting, which looks to be in pretty good shape. No big chunks out of it. And it has that brace that goes back under the engine for rigidity. That's an option you don't usually see right there. Radiator grill looks pretty good on it yet. And another interesting option, here is the gear drive generator with the integral voltage regulator mounted to it. It's got the correct Eisman mag. It still has the louvered spark plug cover on this side of the engine. Fuel pump is all intact. Yeah, not a bad little tractor. Looks like we had an auxiliary oil filter up here on the side of the fuel tank. Engine side panels are on the fenders, as well as the track tin, both of those main guards. Another interesting option, this is the rear hand crank start. Drawbar and swing plate are all intact, and actually the drawbar holes aren't flogged out. Looks like this is the hand crank. See if I can manage this one-handed. Okay. I don't detect much for squeeze, but it rolls over. Take a read on the undercarriage. Sprockets look great. Rails are nice and fat yet. From what I can see of the bottom rollers, they don't look bad. Idler looks good. We do have some stretch in the chains though. These idlers are adjusted out quite far. But this also has the factory cutouts in the track pads for snow relief. So it's a good bet this was used in the winter. So that would explain how all the external undercarriage pieces show very little wear, because it wasn't exposed to so much grit that would wear them down, but you still had internal pin and bushing wear from those tracks going around and around in the snow. Yeah, undercarriage looks the same over here. It has the roller guards in place down on the bottom. I mentioned the track tin. Steering clutches have some spring. It's still got the original six-sided lever right here. That's how you could tell which steering lever you were grabbing without having to look at it. Old Stewart Warner gauge original, American Bosch switch, heat control lever, and the pedals actually don't show much for wear at all. Those look pretty good. Shifter's free, although the cover is rusted through. Air cleaner is loose. It would go in that band right there. The main detractor I see, it's got what looks like a Marvel Schiebler carburetor on it, but the intake manifold looks excellent. Heating jacket is fully intact. Exhaust manifold looks pretty good. A couple cracks in the heat box. We got the original exhaust elbow and the mushroom shaped air cleaner top. So we know the engine turns. It has oil. So that's your main detractor right there, and it looks like they've rigged up the spring with this cable that goes to the original throttle pivot there. Hard to say if the original carb's even around anymore, but all in all, pretty straight, clean little tractor. And over here is the Cat Factory wood cab that was originally on that 22. And of course, it's been left out to the elements. This was the old roof right here. It's collapsed in. These are the tracks for the sliding doors. And like this piece of tin would have been on the side right there. Yeah, there's the old roof supports that go across there. This would have been the front for the overhang. Here's the windows. We still have the hardware for the crankouts. We've got the hinges in place. There's hardware left here. The small little side windows at the front. Grab handle on the side. Here's the door track for the other side. I haven't seen any remnants of doors. Oh, look at that. Nagelhart Caterpillar. Wow. That is an interesting piece. History here. There's the glass for that side. Metal panel. Another handle right here. There's hardware here. And if this would have been preserved, this would have been worth more than the tractor at this point in time right now. Part of the back from it. History. The auction has begun now, and like usual, they start out selling the smalls. 2 trailer loads full of miscellaneous, and I'm not paying a ton of attention to what's going on at this point, but Senior likes to keep right on top of everything that happens at an auction. On one of the trailers, he finds this elbow, all right? Picks it up and looks at it, and he immediately recognizes that 2B casting number as being Caterpillar. What's more, he's heard me yammer on about authentic cat bolts to the point he recognizes 4 genuine cat bolts in the flange. So, shows it to me. I said, that may be an intake elbow that fed the original carburetor that's missing from that Cat 22. So, Senior holds this up to the auctioneer and says, $5. Auctioneer takes it, goes, $5, $5, sold for $5. I'm like, well, that's easy enough. 4 good cat bolts for $5. I do that all day long. Don't threaten me with a good time. Now I'm awake and I'm on the hunt. I even did a search on my channel for old Caterpillar 22 walk-around videos to familiarize myself with what the carburetors looked like. They finished selling the 2 trailer loads of smalls, nothing there. They then moved over to the garage to sell the contents. Come on, fly. I'm trying to tell a story. Apologies. So they move on to the garage to sell the contents of that building. Mostly assorted shop tools, but in the back corner, there were a series of shelves. On one of those shelves, I saw carburetors, magnetos, tractor lights, things of the sort. One carburetor in particular caught my eye, and I decided it was worth the gamble to try to pick it up.
Right off the shelf. they're down below. Magneto, starters, you name it. Lights. Yeah, choice. What's on the shelf and on the floor. Your choice. Give me $50 for choice. 50 where? 50. Give me 25 here on. 25 where? 25. 35. 25. No, 35. 25. No, 30. Your choice. 25. No, 35. No, 5. 35. No, 35. No, 40. No, 5. 40. No, 5. 45. No, 50. Give 50. No, 5. 50. No, 5. 50. No, 50. No, 55. No, 50. $55. No, 50. No, 55. No, give me 57 and a half. 35. 57 and a half. 55. No, 7 and a half. 55. No, 7 and a half. 55. $55, $31. You want all?
If you got the place for it already.
881. Anybody else?
Takes a carburetor.
Have a look in there.
Caterpillar. And this is exactly how I found it. And it wasn't until after I got home that I did this. I bet nobody else did that either. Carb Cat 22. That would have told the whole story right there. But at the time, all I knew is that it had the right throttle fork. It had the right 4-bolt flange to go up to that elbow. It's got the right Caterpillar vent. It just had the right everything. So at this point, I'm convinced that we've already bought 2 pieces of that Cat 22. But also by this point, it's become evident that everything is selling very cheap. And I mean ridiculously cheap. It's like the sale just never gained any momentum, and there just weren't buyers in the crowd. So, ever the opportunist, I decided if I can pick that Cat 22 up for the right price, it's worth throwing my hat into the ring. One way or another, that carburetor and that elbow were going to leave with that machine, whether I was the one that bought it or I approached the individual that did to see if they would be willing to reimburse me for what I had into those pieces, and everything stays intact. So they finally worked their way to the tractor line, and that's when the sale just stalled. Then this happened. Well, everybody, talk about an anticlimactic end to the day. They abruptly canceled the auction midstream. I think the auctioneer was fired. That's a first for me. So we didn't get to the 22. We didn't get to the majority of the tractors. But I'll tell you why I was angling towards this. I shown how the 22 didn't have the original carb on it. This is the carb off the 22 right here. And we found it on one of the shelves in the garage. And being in this box, I think it was sent off to be repaired. The thing just looks like, I mean, everything's way too crisp and way too tight, and new gaskets. Even if I wouldn't have bought the 22, I didn't want to let that carb get away. Even if I wouldn't have bought it, I might have approached the person who did to see if they were interested in that to keep the thing original. So no date for resuming the auction either. I don't know about you, but that's the first one of these I've ever seen go like this.
No experience.
Yeah, so, well, I guess they never even got close to selling the 22, but before leaving that day, I spoke with owners and we exchanged contact information so that if the sale was ever to resume, I would hear of it. Almost a month goes by, and then I receive word that a date has been set to pick up where everything left off. They brought in a second auction service. So Senior and I get back in the truck and we go back to Webster, Wisconsin, not knowing what to expect, but we had to see how everything was going to play out. So the footage that you are about to watch, I recorded the day before yesterday.
11:50 now, 12 now, 12:50. Nobody go, Corbin, go around 12:50 now. 12:50 now. Go, Corbin, around 12:50 now. Nobody go, around 12:50, 12:50, 12:50, $1,200.
Totally different crowd this time around and completely different atmosphere. People are bidding. So let's watch this Ford 8N tractor sell.
sir. Very good, got to do it around 2250. Very good, around 2250. 2300. 25 and now 2550. Very good, got around 2550. Very good, got around 2550. Very good, got around 2550. 25 and now 20 and 2600. Very good, around 2600. Very good, around 2600. And you're in 25 and now 26. 18, 26 and 2650. Very good, got around 2650. Folks, 2650. 2650. 2650, 2650, you say? Anybody else in it? 2650, 2650, 2600. Okay, guys, 1936 is a 22 cat. It was in Superior, guys. They called the sidewalks in Superior. I can't imagine the beef flowers back there that goes with it, guys.
All right, everybody, the 22 is up next. So Senior has the camera, and it's time for me to go to work. With the livelier betting this time around, am I even going to have a shot at it? What's going to happen with the wood cab? And is Scully even going to be of any help in getting the trailer ready? We will find out next time in part 2 of the story.